Mars, and this week on Outlaws of Style we are actually doing a viewer request. Do you like the getup? I'll go into detail about that in a moment. I can't talk. Okay, so we received a request from a subscriber called The Murder Doll, and they stated that they wanted to see us do a time travel week. So if you could travel back in time, what decade would you choose? So you probably have seen that Christy chose the 70s because her family, or her parents, were hippies. My parents were huge hippies as well. My dad had like really long wavy hair, like almost down to his waist, and wore, yeah, it was funny. If I had to go back, I picked the 50s. The 50s, I don't know, there's just something about it that I liked about the 50s. So, I decided to do, of course, like the Hollywood glam look of like the pinup-esque type. I don't know if it came across right, if you like it. I tried to do a suicide roll, but I think I failed. And we were doing a makeup look inspired by that decade. So this is what I have on my face. You're gonna get very close, I'm sorry. Okay, so I pretty much just have like really big fake lashes on, and I have Cork and then Carbon from MAC, and I have Ruby Woo topped with Action from Stila, and then I just did my normal foundation. The lashes make a huge difference. And then with my hair, I did a separate video, so if you want to see how I did this, then I'll put a link below, or just go to my personal channel and I'll be uploading it soon. I think this video might go up before it though, because it is a long process. But yeah, I think it came out really cool. Now the 50s was a generation where, of course, everybody knows Betty Page. Betty Page was the official first pinup girl that was into bondage and stuff like that. So she was the one that opened up that door when it came to pinup modeling. So S&M and bondage. But there's just like a lot of stuff that happened in the 50s, so I'm just going to give you some useless facts that happened in the 50s. Okay, so starting with 1950, the comic strip Peanuts was published. That was the very first time. Peanuts, I don't know, I used to read the newspaper all the time on Sundays when I was little. In 1951, the 22nd Amendment to the United States Constitution was passed, to where there was a limitation on presidential time, to where they have to be there for a certain amount of time and then they have to have re-elections. That was passed in 1951, so yeah, another fact. In 1955, the wonderful James Dean died in a car accident. You should watch The Rebel Without a Cause. Yes. I think if I was in 1950, like in the 1950s, yes, I would want James Dean to be my boyfriend, because he was like the tough guy and he wore like white undershirts but still looked good. These are not going in any order, these are just facts. In 1959, Hawaii became the 50th state of the United States. In 1958, Alfred Hitchcock made the movie Vertigo. That is such an awesome movie. I like it. I don't know if you guys are Hitchcock fans, but it was like, he made a bunch of good movies. I grew up watching that kind of stuff because my parents liked it. But yeah, a lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies were good. On the topic of movies, also in the 50s, we had Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe. Then we also had Singing in the Rain. And then there's a lot of movies that were made originally in the 50s and have been recreated now in our generation. And it's funny how I think we should just create new movies instead of going back in time and just recreating old movies. But that just tells you that back in the day they had really good things, and I really like a lot of the stuff that came out at that time. Between the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I liked that era. And also, as far as fashion, I do like the Victorian era that went all the way to, I want to say 1901. I just like the fashion. It's weird how they're all covered up, and then you go into the 20s, then that's like when the whole flapper, and the 30s, then they go through a period of where they cover up again, and then bam, here come the 40s and the 50s, and boom, everything's out for show. So it's just kind of interesting how things go back and forth like that. Other movies that came out in the 50s would have been Scrooge, the original Scrooge, aka The Christmas Carol, Father of the Bride, and what's another one? The Day the Earth Stood Still, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And I'm sure you've probably heard of one of those, at least one of those, and they've all been remade. January 1st, 1954, NBC broadcasted the first production of any TV show in color. So it went from black and white to color, and a lot of people didn't have colored TVs because it was very expensive. And it took some time, and not until the 60s is when people actually started getting colored TVs. Also in 1959, they came out with Lady and the Tramp from Disney. In the 50s also, that's when the first, in the 50s, that's when they opened up the Disney, I always confuse it, Disneyland or Disney World. I think it may be Disney World? I don't know. In California, it was opened up in the 50s. So those are just my little facts and things that you probably didn't know, because they're random facts from the 50s. I also know that in the 50s, let's see, Eisenhower was up for election. Marilyn Monroe was engaged or married to an author, playwright, I think, I don't know. But it's very interesting, so yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. This is my take and modernized look of the 50s. If I were to go back in time, James Dean, would you please go out with me? But I hope you guys are having a great day, and if you could travel back in time, what decade would you visit? Leave it in the comments below. Bye!